Welcome to the Finance Committee meeting. The first order of business is to approve last month's committee meeting minutes. Motion made by Supervisor Strau, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Privilege of the floor is first on the agenda. Anyone looking to address the Finance Committee? Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Nothing today? Okay, we have Dr. Duffy and team here, so these people are worth a lot of money. We want to get them in and out of here.
Okay, well with that, as we address the Higher Ed and Personnel Committee, first of all, thank you for getting us on your agenda. As you know, we've been working for several months on our project to relocate our culinary program, expand its footprint, to be able to have a location in downtown Glens Falls that was partially awarded through the Downtown Revitalization Initiative funded by the Governor's Office. We were awarded money to support some of the fit-up and equipment costs that we need in order to relocate. We just received formal approval from Empire State Development this past week for $1 million that will go towards funding the $1.3 million that we need to fit up and equip this new space. And because of where we are as an institution with 3 capital projects going on at the same time, we are unable to actually front the cash. The money from ESD is on a reimbursable grant. So we have to complete the project, submit all the invoices, and then would be reimbursed. So we are asking the county to support us as our sponsor, and because the project is located in Glens Falls and in Warren County, we're coming to Warren County for this to help front the money, front the cost of the project, and then reimburse once the project is completed by Empire State Development. So that's what we're asking for, and as we've said, we've had several conversations with the county treasurer and other supervisors prior to this meeting to get a sense of whether that's something that would be possible, and so we're coming here today to ask for that support.
And this is a fantastic project, and as was discussed in personnel, we just need to make sure that it's okay with our treasurer and our county attorneys. So the presentation they made was fantastic. Thank you guys for coming. So committee's pleasure. Motion made by Supervisor Sieber, seconded by Supervisor Simpson. What the hell's so funny? Did you need to say something?
Yeah, I'd just like to make sure that in the motion that it pens all the smell tests through the county attorney's office and the treasurer's office. That the controller's okay with it, and that everybody signs up is on board with it.
Agreed.
Swan test.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, so what with that?
Or smell test, the smell.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. We're going to jump forward. I know he's here, but I don't... Yeah.
Thank you, Amber.
We have tried the last couple months to get Terry in here to discuss some cost-saving options. He is here today, and he's going to make a brief presentation, and hopefully we can do something here, if not this meeting, but the following meeting.
I don't like this.
Hey Terry, how are you?
Hi, good morning.
Good. You can actually go right to that podium. That'd be perfect. Yep. Thank you.
A couple of things I had brought to the attention of the Finance Committee a couple of months ago, and I dropped off a proposal. I don't know if anybody had any questions on that, if there was any thoughts. I know the proposal has gotten out to a few of the funeral homes in the area, and they took a look at it. I know some of them were a little bit nervous about it, but I don't think it was unfair by any means. And if we want to modify some, we are the northernmost county that sends our pathology to Albany Med. So we are the farthest county, and it comes as far south or as far north as Pottersville. That's our last, and Hague. So if we have an incident up there, we have to send it down. At the minimum, it's a 3-hour ride for the funeral director or whoever we designate as a coroner to do the removal. Actually, right now, we would be, Saratoga County transports their deceased to Saratoga Hospital. They have a contract with Dr. Sikorica. Well, he will come up to Saratoga Hospital. We can't get that with Glens Falls Hospital, unfortunately. I've talked to Dr. Peringipe there. They just won't do autopsies at Glens Falls Hospital for us anymore. So we are with Albany Med, and they'll have to go to Albany Med. Saratoga's facilities don't have enough room to handle our cases along with theirs. So Washington County does the same thing. They had to Albany Med. So I'd like to get our removal fees have been kind of skyrocketing. Our vouchers that we get sent in, some of them run between $300 to last year the highest was $1,225, which was actually knocked down to just a little bit over $1,000, which we thought was a little exorbitant for removal to Albany Med. We thought about a $500 removal fee. That would include 2 persons removal vehicle and the equipment to do that removal. Standard price for what would be called the disaster pouch. Some folks call it a deluxe body bag. We know that with the pricing on those aren't, some of them range from $125 to down to $50. So that's the difference in prices. I'd like to kind of get those to, I'd like to get them to one price for everybody. Everybody's pretty much paying the same price for a deluxe, I say a deluxe body bag, a disaster pouch. A lot of times we'll use the disaster pouch in place of a standard white body bag. The standard white body bags are not, they're not good for handling. I'd like to get the mileage down to maybe $2 a mile, $1.50 to $2 a mile from the county line down to Albany Med. And that's a one-way trip. Vouchers were submitted to us with 2-way trips down and back. They wouldn't, I don't know why we would have to pay for the trip back, and we would pay $1.50 on the way down, as we call it, a loaded mile with a body present. Okay. And I'm getting bills or vouchers now for 2-man removal. That should be a normal practice for a funeral home. Some funeral homes come with just one person. I'm not crazy about that. I usually, when I talk to the funeral home at a scene, I tell them what we have, and I let them make that decision. Fortunately, we do get a lot of help, and that was another question that I had. I'd like to talk to the county attorney about having funeral homes come up with their own insurance and have it on file here with the county. A lot of times at a funeral or at a removal, the funeral home will ask for help from somebody, whether it be a police officer, a fireman, or even a civilian. Saratoga County went through this. Somebody was hurt, a civilian was hurt at a removal, and they sued Saratoga County for workers' comp. They didn't want to, I don't want to see that happen to us here. I'd rather be proactive and not have it happen here with us. I know a lot of the funeral homes will ask for help from neighbors. Neighbors are willing to help. They're just, I just don't want to see anybody get hurt and have it on the county dime. So that was another question, or another part of the proposal. But really, I'd like to just talk about the fee schedules, and I can talk, if with your permission, I can go with Brian. Yes, sir.
Supervisor Beebe?
Yeah, so I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So in 2015, the removal cost was $320, but that was just the Glens Falls Hospital?
That was, in 2015, they were still transporting to Glens Falls Hospital.
Okay. So then in 2016, we started transporting to Albany.
Exclusively to Albany Med, yes.
Okay. And so obviously the cost went from $320, which was a local cost, to $636. Now in 2017, the cost has gone average so far $825. So why the increase? I mean, because they can?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, that's, and so I like the fact that you're proposing that we have a standard across-the-board fee base?
Standard across-the-board fee with exigent circumstances. We've had a few cases recently where we need more manpower. And the funeral home could call in more manpower at, I think I have it at about $75 a person, where they could call in 2 or 3 more people. We made a removal last year. We needed 13 people. So that's few and far between. That's the only one in my 20 years as a funeral director that we needed all those folks.
So you're saying $500, Terry, and then it can go up to as high as $1,000.
Right. I'd like to just cap it off at 1,000. Maybe that would have to change. I can't imagine we'd have too many of those 13-man removals. If they needed 3 or 4 more people, it was a tough situation. Somebody that was extremely obese on the 3rd floor, those come into play. And we don't have, sometimes the fire companies will help us out with...
Now, we can set the fee, we as a county can set the fee in which they can charge us. What if they say, I don't want, it's going to cost me more than that?
That's why we went to $500.
Yeah, but what if they say that's not high enough?
The normal, if we look at the vouchers that are submitted, the vouchers that are submitted usually run around, for the removal itself, is right around $450 to $500. So we went with the higher number went with the 500, and then the extras that were added on, the body bags range from $125 to $50. So I'd like to get a standard price for those. We felt, as we talked as coroners, that $500 was sufficient compared to other counties.
So actually, we're being more than fair, correct? In your opinion, you would...
My opinion, $500 is above the average for the removal on the vouchers that they're submitting now.
So that's a fair number, okay.
And that would be from the northernmost part of the county. That's what I gauged everything from Warrensburg north. Everybody south was fine with fees, but I wanted to make sure that the folks up north would be receptive to this, so they're not going from Pottersville or Hague all the way down to Albany Med and not be compensated for it.
Chairman Conover?
So this isn't a kind of set a rate. This fellow on Doug was saying, this isn't a take it or leave it kind of approach. That's what we've done. We've taken a look at what the costs are. If I'm reading you between the lines, what you're saying is that right now, if you get a bill for $850, you have no basis to not pay it.
Correct.
So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to be fair, but also provide a basis so that they know that what we pay for that. So this is a number that, as time goes on, may have to be adjusted.
Yes, sir.
May have to be adjusted. So right now, the problem is that they send you a bill for $1,000. You really have no option to pay it. It's provided the service, call them, you had to pay it. So sort of advance notifying, you might say, which may or may not work.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
Even if we had gone to the standard equipment part of it, I'm starting to see bills now with funeral homes are sending 3 and 4 people, and they're billing the county for it. I didn't need 3 or 4 people at that removal. I tell them what I need at that point. If you're on the 1st floor, it's a 100-pound person. I don't need 3 and 4 people showing up for that. Okay, I don't have a basis to say no to them. They submit a voucher, and I'm kind of stuck in that.
So going forward, this would cement us, and if they went above what you said, I only need 2 people, they use 4, then they submit a bill to us, we would only pay for what you had recommended.
Yes.
Okay. And then the other caveat is, you mentioned that right now they don't carry insurance for this, for their people. Basically, we're using county insurance if there's a workman's claim.
I guess how I want it, their people are covered, the folks on their staff are covered insurance-wise. What I'm worried about, and what we see a lot now, is if somebody else helps them outside of the funeral home. A funeral director comes, he's got one person with him. I help him. I can help him. I certainly would help that person. If they employ somebody outside, the neighbor comes over, says, "Can I help?" The funeral director says, "Absolutely, yes, you can help." That neighbor gets hurt. Saratoga County went through that process. The gentleman who got hurt on a county removal, on a coroner's removal, sued the county for workman's comp. I'd rather not see that. You know, if they can cover, if they hire somebody to help, it's on them. It's not on us, the county.
Supervisor Strauss?
Yes, Terry, so we're talking about standardizing removal of 500, and then there's a caveat. Could be exigent removal costs up to 1,000. So the total removal could be 1,500?
The total removal would be 1,000. That would be,
Right,
and
that
then-
would include the $500 removal fee and up to $500 in existential costs.
additionally.
Okay, that's not really clear.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, it would be up to 1,000. I'd like to cap it at 1,000. I cannot see having more than, most of the funeral homes are charging me us, the county, between $75 and $100 a man. So if I need 2 extra people, if they think they need 2 extra people. And again, we get help from the fire company sometimes.
Why did they need 13 people?
833 pounds.
833 pounds?
833 pounds, and we had to get a truck with it.
Oh my God.
So it happens. It's here in this county.
That happened in this county?
Yes, sir.
Chairman Conover?
Yeah, how does, I understand there are instances where, how does insurance factor in?
As far as the coverage for the county, that I don't know. That's what I would like to talk to the county attorney about, to see if the funeral homes can submit to us as a contractor type.
Wondering what, assuming there's insurance, how the insurance would work into the provision of that service. I suppose it would depend upon what kind of insurance they have, I guess. But
I'm only talking about whether, or I just want to cover the county as far as a workman's comp type of thing. The insurance that the deceased has, are you talking? Yeah, that's a whole different animal. I'm not staying right away from that. I'm not submitting a bill to the deceased or their family. This is only to cover the county in case if the funeral home employs somebody. I just want to cover the funeral home. If the funeral home employs somebody that's not on their staff, a neighbor, a friend, and that neighbor or friend gets hurt, in Saratoga County, what happened is that person came back on the county, said, "I was an employee of the county at that point, and now I'm on workers' comp." Okay, so I just.
wondering if it's a reimbursable, and from an insurance point of view, if it's a reimbursable expense, and we're unaware of the insurance, and we're getting a bill.
Like a resource recovery type thing? Which was another part of the thought process on motor vehicle accidents. I'm researching
for
that
example,
now.
when we send out ALS, if they have insurance, they get billed, right? They get billed for it. You're saying that we provide the service. I was just wondering, maybe it's not reimbursable from an insurance point. I don't know.
From what I've talked to a couple of some folks in the insurance business, it's not.
Okay.
Okay, it is not. I'm trying for resource recovery on special testing for blood through insurance companies. If the insurance company uses a blood from a DWI, a fatal DWI accident, why can't we have them pay for it? $130, but it's money that we don't have to spend.
See, I understand you, and I understand your service as a general governmental service. That I understand now. A phone call was made to a private company to come into the situation. I'm unclear as to exactly where the public responsibility ends, and private responsibility begins. And I understand no two situations are probably the same.
The private the way we see it, or the way I see it now, is the private, the public, our job is finished. when Dr. Sikorica at the Albany Med says he signs the death certificate. That's our responsibility.
Okay.
We don't have a responsibility.
So it's the public cost to the death certificate?
To the death certificate, yes, sir.
That clarifies it.
Sorry about that.
Supervisor Simpson?
Could we limit our exposure by having a policy that anybody outside of the, funeral home, the firemen, EMS, who are all covered under insurance, not allow the neighbor or the guy driving down the road, is there a way to limit our exposure to something?
I don't know how we tell a funeral home that they can't employ somebody. I don't know
No,
if that's or they can't ask for help.
Well,
I
it
don't
should be
know.
on them, though. I mean,
That's my thought process. I want it on them, on the
Right.
funeral home, to provide whether it's an insurance certificate or if they say to the neighbor, will you help me? And if that neighbor gets hurt, it's not the county's liability.
I was just thinking, and you referenced the neighbor that came over and helped and ended up in Saratoga County
Right.
collecting. We could limit that exposure by saying, you can't have that.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. I guess that's my question to you folks and to the county attorney, is how do we limit that? Do we have the funeral homes contract with us to say, okay, this is what they have to provide an insurance certificate, whatever. It's on them if they take somebody. Just want to make it clear to them, if they take somebody on, that it's not our responsibility for that. Been seeing it a lot lately, unfortunately. Or I get the 4 people on the extreme. I get the 4 people on a funeral home, or from the funeral home, that I don't need. So.
Okay, so, sorry, Supervisor Thomas.
Is everybody going to vote on this?
No, percentage-wise, thank you for asking that. We did send about 12 folks to Albany Med for autopsies in July, which was a high month. Okay, that's a high month for us. But I think on my percentage right now, and I'm covering the hospital most of the time, I'm about 30%. So we're having great luck with the doctors in the area. We're their eyes and ears at the scene, and we're having great success with that. I'm calling the police departments if they're happy with what they found at the scene, Washington County, Saratoga County, and Warren County State Police. So I think we're cutting down a little bit, even though I think the deaths are up this year.
So what we have before the committee is a proposal from the coroners. We probably met, 6-7 months ago, Terry, right?
Yes.
We just didn't want this to get too far out of whack. Does anyone need more time to digest this? I mean, Terry and his team put in a lot of time and research into this, and I think they came up with a nice proposal. Obviously, they know the numbers way better than we do, but does anybody have any exceptions to this or would like to move this on the board?
Well, I'll move it. I just want the clarification that the exigent stipend amount will be $500 for an aggregate amount of $1,000.
Okay.
And so I'll move that.
Motion made by Supervisor Strauss, seconded by Supervisor McDevitt. This also should be passed by the county attorney's office, correct? So,
I would love to sit down with Mr. Rickenback and talk
Okay.
to him or his representative to talk about how we should better.
well, we're making a resolution to put this forth to the September board meeting, so would you be able to meet sooner than later?
I will call.
Okay.
I'll stop on the way down.
Okay, perfect. Okay, we do have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
Terry, thank you so much.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay,
Have a
have a
good
good
day.
day. Okay, thank you. Moving on. Item 2, request for transfer of funds as attached for committee approval. Those are in your packet. Under item 2. Motion made by Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Frazier. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item 3, requests and items to be discussed by the county treasurer. Mike, do you want to quickly go through these, or do you want me to read them off?
We can go by item if you want. That's
Item by
fine.
item? Okay. Item A would be request to amend the county budget in the amount of $45,112 to cover the cost of the 2017 bond issuance using the premium received.
Basically, what this is, these are closing costs for the bond, and they were incorporated in the bond, so there's no money coming out of the county for this. This was money that we received from the bond to pay the costs of closing, basically is what it is. And
Okay.
we just need to move the money from where we got it in the bond fund to a place where we can pay it.
Motion made by Supervisor Strauss, seconded by Supervisor McDevitt. Any discussion? All in favor?
What-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hold on. What is this, closing costs? So it's $45,000 to issue a bond?
Yeah, $14 million bond, I think that's pretty reasonable.
What's the percentage, the closing?
This
Is it based on-
this pays for some of the attorney's fees.
Do we have a breakdown? Can I get a breakdown of
Yep,
this?
sure can.
Yeah, sometime.
It's right around 3%, isn't it, Mike? I
Yeah.
think.
Well, this is for, like, the attorney fee, for the closing, because we need an attorney. This also paid for, because there's an insurance premium in there. And this also pays for the fiscal advisor, these type of things. Yeah, I can...
Yeah,
have-
just shoot me what it is.
Yep, I can have Rob send
Thanks.
this to you.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item B, request to amend resolution number 402 of 2016 to amend the budget code to include additional code V9710469, serial bonds, other payments, contributions as appropriate.
This is just, basically, this kind of links to the first one we just did. This amends the resolution with our fiscal advisor to allow us to pay this.
Okay. Motion made by Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Straugh. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. C, request to either authorize the Treasurer's Office to write off uncollected Medicaid receivables carried over on December 31st, 2015 from Westmount, or find someone to take over the rebilling and renew the billing software contract, which was tabled at the June 14th board meeting.
I know this is a very touchy subject, and we've had a lot of discussions about this, but I still need to take this off of my books. Just because we do that does not mean that if we collect any money, we can't receive it. Any money that's collected under this, we absolutely will take in. This is just basically an accounting procedure that our auditors are telling us we really need to do. We need to get this taken care of. And it's my understanding that we're still kind of working on trying to find somebody to collect this money. The last conversations I had.
So we've exhausted all our resources to try to collect this.
I wouldn't say we have at this point yet, because there was an authorization to purchase the software to look into
Right.
this, to see if we can, where we're at with it. And no, I would not say that we have exhausted all of our resources on this. I think we're still pursuing it, but like I said, even any money that comes in, even after we take it off of our books, write it off our books, we can still receipt, and it will be credited to where this money was going, which is the reserve fund for Westmount.
So the $9,000 we spent at the last board meeting for the software, that is going to help this, or it's just for future?
Well, that'll help with this. That is targeted to try to lower that $500 and some thousand outstanding.
Okay, all right. Okay. Anyone like to make a motion? Not really. Well, thoughts on what we should do then?
Well, can we wait? Could we wait? Does this have to be done, or does it have to be done before the close of the fiscal year?
Right.
I really need to get it done before the close of this fiscal year.
So we have a few more months. I mean, we're still pursuing, trying to find somebody who's willing to come in. I mean,
As a matter of fact, I have a meeting scheduled, I don't remember when it is, first week in September, with someone from Glens Falls Hospital who may be able to help us. So
why don't we just...
Why don't we put this on our pending
why don't we
item
just
then for next month?
Table it until after we truly have exhausted all our attempts.
Okay.
I'm not in favor of doing it right now. I understand it's just a paper thing, but it just doesn't set well.
Is the committee okay if we put this on our pending items for next month? Okay. Okay, item D, request to amend resolution number 671 of 2012 to change the name of the Computer Reserve Fund, A895, to Computers and Telecommunications Reserve Fund, A895.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Supervisor Garrity, seconded by Supervisor Stroud. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 4, referral from the County Facilities Committee, Airport. Request to increase capital project H325, Navigation Easement Runway 30, in the amount of $9,974 to cover the cost of real estate closing costs, which exceeded the anticipated amount. Motion made by Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Stroud. All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
Yeah.
Again.
Opposed?
2 opposed. Motion passed. 5, referral from the August 15th, 2017 Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee meeting, particular Office of Emergency Services. We have a request to increase capital project number H254, Fire Training Center project, in the amount of $59,575.44 to reflect reimbursement receipts from Washington County in the amount of $13,715.39, plus the anticipated reimbursement receipt of $45,860.05 for the 50% of the water line installation cost for the Fire Training Center.
I'll move it.
Motion made by Supervisor Garrity, seconded by Supervisor Merlino. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 6, we have a referral from the Park Operations and Management Committee. A request to appropriate funds in the amount of $19,400 from budget code A69107, which is Deferred Revenue Gaslight Village Parking Fees, to budget code A1625470, which is Gaslight Village Property Contract, to pay for contract with Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District.
I'll move that.
By Supervisor Garrity, seconded by Supervisor Merlino. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, 7, referrals from Public Works Committee, DPW in particular. Item A, request to decrease capital project number H354, Highway Preservation Project, in the amount of $236,000, $236. Oh my God. I'm losing my mind.
Right.
Why don't you just approve that?
Can
You could do,
how many of these can we combo up? 'Cause
you
this
can
has
do A,
already
B,
been-
and C. You could do, I
I'll make a
think,
motion, we do A, B, C, D.
A, B, C, D?
Yep, they've been all approved by committee.
Okay, motion made by Supervisor Garrity, seconded by Supervisor Simpson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 8, request items to be discussed by the county administrator.
We need more money from the Westmount Legacy Fund for retirement costs.
Right.
And, that's the retirement costs of employees there.
Okay. Motion made by Supervisor McDevitt, seconded by Supervisor Simpson. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 9, request item to be discussed by the county attorney. Mary, what you got?
This is the surcharge that we were talking about at the Legislative and Rules Committee. The surcharge was authorized by county law. With the new state budget, the authorization came out of the county law and was just put into the tax law. They did a new tax law section. So the tax law section now includes the surcharge for the track phones or the prepaid phones. And it also, when it was under the county law, the money would go to, let's see, basically instead of going, the money's going to come right from the carriers, so it would come right from Verizon or AT&T, and they would pay it directly. Before that, it was going through a middleman, and I don't remember who that was. So if the county wants to approve that, we just need to amend the local law. If you don't amend the local law, then the county won't get the surcharge anymore.
Yeah, this was approved in legislative and rules early this morning. Motion made by Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Stroud. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to number 10, Finance Committee action is required on the following items approved by the Personnel and Higher Education Committee, and those are items 3A and 3B. Motion made by Supervisor Schieber, seconded by Supervisor McDevitt. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. And we took care of Perry, so anything else that comes before Finance? Motion to adjourn made by Supervisor Simpson, seconded by Supervisor Stroud. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Chair.